Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
Sup, people? How's it going?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Richard Bailey Jr.,
What's up, everybody?
Brian Manjoma,
What's up? What's up?
and joining us by popular demand, Mr. Adam Vale.
What up, people? What up? Here we go.
Yeah, that's it. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Poppy. I'm doing good. You know me. Shit, damn. Here we go. Another 8 hours.
8 hours.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's the old throwdowns, man. We don't do that shit anymore.
Oh, what?
No.
Oh, shit.
Even when you were on, we stopped doing those things.
No. We still did that for like, I feel, I'm not gonna say holiday specials.
The holiday specials, yes.
Was it like that? Yeah, I remember doing like New Year's or end of year review stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
Shit, it's like 6 hours. Sun coming up. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, those go long. And we have a special announcement about year-end specials and other things at the end of the show. So here's what we want to do. We have one announcement and then a giveaway. So we're going to do the giveaway halfway through the show. Manny, what are we giving away to the fans?
What we are giving away is the coveted Marvel vs. Capcom fighting collection.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 4 and 5, obviously. And we're also giving away a couple other things. So there's going to be a special postcard of a piece that I had drawn that one of our fans asked about, which was a Gambit piece that's going to be in there too. We're also going to be giving away the World Warrior Passport. It's a fun little sticker book of like Street Fighter related sort of things. Like each page is it's sort of the 30th anniversary. But yeah, putting that away. And we're also giving away a Marvel Legends figure.
Hey.
So this is Black Winter. It's an alternate version of Thor, if you're familiar with the current comic book. Just give a little bit of Marvel and Capcom-y goodness there for you guys. So yeah, that's going to be given away tonight.
Good stuff, man. All right. So Chris will be here in a little bit. He has to put the daughter to bed. She goes to sleep late for a kid. I'm like, damn. Don't people usually put kids to bed early? But Olivia's Olivia. And no Brett action tonight. He's feeling under the weather. So hopefully he'll join us on the Thursday show. But without further ado, let's get into it. Not a lot of questions, so we'll see how long the show goes. But if you do have any more gaming questions for us, feel free to ask us in the chat. All right, let's get into it. First up, we got Jay Shep. This one's controversial.
Shit.
Is Ubisoft the poster child for everything wrong with the gaming industry? Now, I understand why this question came up, because if you have been listening to Throwdown for the past 3 months, literally every week we've talked about an L that Ubisoft was taking. This company's all kinds of fucked up. So let me lay it down, right? Obviously, we're not gonna get too into it, but the whole DEI push, right? Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, buggy fucking games like Star Wars Outlaws, the whole debacle with Shadows, like pissing off Japan, the company trying to sell itself because they're like apparently in the hole, overblown budgets that are just out of control, not giving fans what they want. Motherfuckers still waiting for Rayman and Splinter Cell. Like, it's just everything that, layoffs, obviously, everything that has gone wrong with gaming, especially in the last 4 years, Ubisoft just encapsulates it. And we've seen it all just really happen this year. So I understand this question completely. And I think, I think it is. I think it is actually a poster child for everything wrong with fucking gaming. It hurts to say that. I used to love Ubisoft back in the day, but they've been fucking up on every level. I don't even remember the last fucking Ubisoft game I played, bro.
Well, they're not the first.
They're not the
EA
first.
started that shit.
That last Assassin's Creed game.
Adam, I'm glad you said, because Ubisoft has now become the new EA, the most hated company in gaming. And I want to get your thoughts on it, because you are a Ubisoft fan.
Oh yeah, man, I love my division, and to see Ubisoft for the whole just fall down this hole that they built for themselves, first with their Uplay service and trying to push that hard, also tying a lot of exclusivity games, making games exclusive to Epic Games. Instead of just like, hey, it's on PC forever. No. We want that money up front. And that was the downfall. And like you mentioned, all these buggy games and really not listening to the fans. Also, like you said, with the whole Splinter Cell, everybody wants Splinter Cell. And why? Why no Splinter Cell? They said, well, there's numbers or whatever that we don't see. Well, your current games aren't selling anyway.
Exactly.
So what do you have to lose? Just give people what they want, even if it's like Chris, he's not here yet, but he sent me last week a gift on Steam. He sent me the Metal Gear Solid collection to play. And remember the VR missions and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. That's just a collection of missions. Try to sneak around, see what you can do. I would love something like that for just Splinter Cell. You don't even have to make a whole game. Just all right, this is the big building, 20-something floors, figure the shit out, get to the top, take out the boss. Can you do it? That's it. You don't have to get too crazy, but we don't know behind the scenes. Remember a few years there was that takeover attempt by that other, right? And everybody was pulling for them. We're like, oh no, they got to fight the corporate man trying to take over. And then still the corporate man was there behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because look at all the shit that we have going now. And then studios closing and consolidating, then trying to make every game as a service with the
that's the other part. Yep.
That's the other. It always baffled me when playing Valhalla and it's like, yo, let me get this straight. So I can get my ship together, I can get my crew together, but I can't play with any real people. I can't get my real boys to jump in this and start raiding. Why? That was, especially if it's a live service game, it makes perfect sense to do something like that. That's what made The Division such a big hit. That it's like, yo, you, Chris, anybody, yo, I'm ready to play. You want to jump in? Just jump in, boom, boom. All right, you're on that side of that. We can meet up. We were in that world.
By the way, Adam, they have a game like that, and it failed. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not forgetting the name of the fucking game, but the pirate one. Remember they had that shit for years. That shit's been in development.
But then
what you're asking for, they tried to do it, and it didn't.
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, yeah. Failed.
But then that's the other thing. It's like they were like, oh, people, they forgot the other part that everyone liked when playing Black Flag was that once you got close after bombarding the shit out of it, you can jump on and swing and start, fighting in that combat. That wasn't there. It was just a naval battle that nobody wanted. It's like, yeah, we like the naval stuff, but we wanted in this world. Why did you change it? Why did you do that? That's a mess, and it's just a shame. It's sad. It's really sad. And like the Star Wars Outlaws, plural, to come out to be a single player game. Are you kidding me? That you took my people, Massive Entertainment, away from the Division, from making Division 3, so they can go do this BS, and it's a single player game. Are you kidding me? That should have been. That's the one thing I was hyped about. I was like, you know what? At least it won't be a division, but it's that team. I'm sure I'll be able to jump in, make my own guy, jump around, travel around. We'll get on a ship, travel from different Star Wars worlds in that universe. No, you're playing with some jabroni that they already created for you, and it's a single player experience. This ain't fun. This isn't what I wanted. Change that name, Star Wars Outlaw R Edition. And take it. That's it. That's what they should have said, because this is really not what people wanted at all. Everybody was like, shoot, this is going to be awesome, right? Open world, you're going to travel around. You're thinking, again, I'm going to have my buddies, right?
Yeah. To be fair, though, they never specifically said multiplayer.
Yeah,
no.
That.
They didn't. It was just when they signed the team that did the Division. And why did they sign them? They're like, well, they're good. This is what they said. They're good with the open world model. They showed some demo to Disney or whatever it was, saying, hey, look, this is what we can do. And they even said it. We showcased the Division because that's what that team did.
I get
that's
it.
What they were doing. Yeah, you would think that's what they were going for. If not, then just keep your other single player guys from Assassin's Creed, have them do it. Why this team? Why did this team get pulled?
Ubisoft, they fucking up.
What's the end result though? What do we do? I mean, what can be done? What if do we see them selling off IPs at some point? Is that a possibility? I don't. Or do they just...
Yeah, some of the fans, because again, you haven't been here for this, some of the fans believe that Ubisoft may not exist a year from now, the way things are going. Because I really do think when Shadows comes out, that's going to be the next big flop. That game's already on thin fucking ice. There is no way that game's going to land and do well, after all the controversy it's generated. So after that, I don't know, man. Next year is going to be a very rocky year for Ubisoft, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a big company, maybe like Apple or something, just come and gobble it up.
Yeah.
Just buy it all and be like, we got it all. We'll put this up. We'll figure something out. And unless they do a fire sale, like if for you guys, well, we're all old. We all remember the THQ days when they did that fire sale. It was like one day, and I remember it was like watching like a sports, like a drafting. It was like, all right, EA just got the UFC rights. Whoa! It was like, wait, who's getting the? Oh, 2K just got WWE. It was just like one after another. That one day, they were just selling all their IPs around. Yeah, and then we got THQ Nordic.
Yeah, they got all the IPs back.
They got all that. They bought the THQ name and then they slapped it on the front of their Nordic Games or whatever it was before.
Yeah, that's wild.
Man, it is.
Yeah, Brian, get in here, man, because I know you just like me. You're very interested in this whole Ubisoft chaos that's been happening all year. What are your thoughts?
It's been an absolute shit show, and it's really bad just watching it from the sidelines. And it's funny because we've all been saying the same thing. Like, where is Splinter Cell? Like, that seems the game that everyone's been looking for. That and Prince of Persia, but yet they seem to be doing everything they can to not make those games for some odd reason. And I think, as you guys have said, it's going to hurt them in the long run. And Shadows, I honestly have very low hopes for that. I honestly don't see it doing well. Oh well, it'll do well, but it won't do well enough to justify it. And I think we'll really know that Ubisoft are in trouble when they remaster AC4 Black Flag, because that seems to be like, well, that's what game companies do.
Did they confirm that? Because they've been talking about that forever.
I've been hearing about that too, Brian.
I'm not saying that it's been confirmed. I'm saying that's when we know that they are in trouble, because every game company seems to have a hit this for like help,
well,
no, they do.
No, you're right, but it did work for Capcom. Remember, Capcom went through the same slump, and they were like, all right, we're just going to go back and fix up all these Resident Evils and fix up all this other shit. You want to buy it? And it worked.
I almost think that, but for Capcom's situation, they weren't in that break glass.
Yeah, they weren't at that point yet. Yeah.
No, they weren't.
But Brian, you are right. Some companies do that. It's like break glass in case of emergency. Break glass in
case of emergency. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. Anyway, Brian, continue.
Yeah, I just see that's the point that we know that yes, something's going really wrong with Ubisoft, and I think after that, then we'll see either they'll bounce back and they'll learn, or they'll just continue to make mistakes and they'll go downhill. And judging by the way things are going, I don't think they'll learn. I think they'll all just be downhill from there on in. They won't have their Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
No, sorry. This will be their Final Fantasy.
This will be actual Final Fantasy. All right. Anybody else want to jump in on this? All right, I'm going to take that as a no. Ubisoft will keep an eye on you. Let's see what other L you come up with this week, because every week it's something with this company, All right.
But
what's up?
It's the one, that last thing on it. The one thing about it is the question is, like, how do they pull themselves out of this downward spiral? We all know how long games take to make. We all know how long things, take to do. How do they, what can they throw in there that's a surefire hit that has already been in development?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just say, oh, hey, Division 3, right? Or Division Legends, or whatever the hell you want to call it, since they don't like to use numbers, right?
Well, they did confirm Division 3. They were like that. There is a Division 3 coming, but no date. No date.
Yeah, they confirm. I mean, all announcing any of that does is just make the people, internally, their shareholders go, oh, hey, yeah, that was the one that did really good, didn't it? No, like, what do they have that's in the pipeline that can legitimately pull them out of this sort of downward spiral?
Manny, Beyond Good and Evil 2, excuse me?
That's right. That's going to do it.
You mean the game that gets stopped and restarted and stopped and restarted?
I don't get how that works. How do you keep people, hired for that working on that long for a game that doesn't look like it's going to get released?
How do you know they even have the damn thing in development?
That's true.
How do you know they just didn't just close? They just didn't have they had that prototype that they did a while ago, and it just didn't catch people's ire, catch people's eye, and they just dumped it. This, I mean, granted, if we maybe looked at their numbers, you could possibly see what the allocation of some of their funds are, within their internally. But I don't think that game is even being developed.
Yeah, it may not be.
Man, they got one dude hired renewing the license every or the website.
Yeah,
that's his only job.
It's kind of it's kind of like how Rockstar kept Agent for so many years, right? They just they just quietly disappeared it, after showing a trailer and showing a bit of gameplay, right? And they just quietly disappeared it. And I think that's Beyond Good and Evil too. And again, like, who is this? Who at this point in time? Granted, they just had the anniversary for Beyond Good and Evil, and they did another re-release of the damn game. But that game was a flop.
Yeah.
People liked it, but it was an utter flop. So what you would have to do is you'd have to put out another low budget game like the original, so that the loss, if there is a loss, it's not so horrible that it fucks your company up. So they're in a rock and a hard place situation, because as Adam said before, it's like they had their guys, the guys who do their probably one of their most successful games, right, working on another game. So
and that game bombed.
That's 4 to 5 years that they could have been working on the Division 3.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to someone in this room that's normally not here?
Sure.
The ghost behind Adam. I have a question. So what's the state of the Division? Like, is it dead?
Made an announcement. No, they made an announcement a few months back, and they talked about the future of the Tom Clancy branding that they have under their wing. And they talk about all the other games and add-ons, but they said their key focus is the Division. They said that is now the flagship title of the Tom Clancy series, above Rainbow Six and stuff.
And Splinter Cell.
And Splinter Cell, and that they have plans to branch out within that world, and that there will be a Division 3. There is no doubt that's a plan, along with some other things. But then, shortly after, they canceled Heartland, right? Because that didn't really work out. That was their other game that they were working on. That was going to be the free-to-play, open world type of survival. It was basically the Dark Zone. We all played the Division and the Dark Zone. It was going to be like that, but the whole damn game. And they're like, oh no, but you could really trade and stuff. Didn't really work out in the betas and the alphas, and they were like, forget it. We canceled it. So there goes that. And then they were doing a mobile version. I remember, I think it was called Resistance or whatever. And then they like, yeah, that's not happening either. It just wasn't working out. So they said we're just going to focus in on just the game itself. No date, no nothing. All we know is that is the plan going forward. So if we ever do see another Tom Clancy game, it's supposed to be the Division 3. That's all we know. Now, look at all the stuff happening with Star Wars and all that. I don't know how long that deal is with Disney. I don't know the sales numbers. Like you said, it's buggy, got a lot of issues. They recently came on Steam after that exclusivity with Epic. They sent it over. I loaded on my Steam Deck. The shit didn't work. I'm like, come on now. You know what I mean? Like, it's upsetting because they've been doing right to the PC community with a lot of things, especially people like myself that live on the Steam Deck. Because one of the most annoying parts of a lot of Ubisoft games was you would get that launcher, Ubi Connect launcher.
That bullshit.
You would always have to sign in, and it would never remember for some reason, like you signed it. Well, they fixed that. That's fixed with the Prince of Persia and stuff now. I boot it up, it'll pop up like a splash screen, Ubi Connect. But if you have ever signed in before, which I have many, many, many times, it remembers that. It sees it in the config file. And it's like, all right, well, you're good. And you just play it like a normal game. Outlaws does the same thing, but now it has issues where it's with the controls. It's not seeing the controls itself on the device. Anyway, they need to fix a lot of these issues, but I don't know what that contract is. I don't know what kind of deal they have with them. Who knows? Maybe it's a contract for 2 of these games. Maybe the Massive Entertainment.
I mean, the way that was really explained before, when a while ago when the Battlefront game did awful, was that Disney was open to or Lucasfilm was opened to essentially, doing the Star Wars license to multiple things besides just
That's how
EA.
Ubisoft got in. Yeah,
and,
that's
and
how they
that's
got
how
in.
that's how Ubisoft got in. That's how a bunch of studios got into making Star Wars games. And at the time we were like, hey, this is cool, and they put up the idea of a single player Star Wars game that takes place in that universe, and we're like, okay, yeah, Assassin's Creed Star Wars, something like that. But
We didn't get
5
that.
years later, this
Yeah.
is what we got.
All right, before we move on, because he snuck in through the back door. Chris, because I really want your thoughts on this. Do you think Ubisoft epitomizes everything wrong with modern gaming?
Not everything, but there's a great many things wrong with Ubisoft. I mean, you can't if you look at all the the issues with gaming, there's they've had kind of sexual assault allegations in there. They've had they're having if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Multiple titles. They have the only thing I can't.
Budgets, don't forget about those.
Oh yeah, extremely overblown budgets. Like we're in orders of magnitude beyond reasonable with that. Concord, Suicide Squad, and you name it, right? But then you start listing out those titles, and it's like, well, how many failures is Sony racking up now, right? And is that do they epitomize the problem with the industry, or EA, right?
Yeah.
EA's not doing so hot either, and they are doubling and tripling down on the stuff that is failing. So you tell me, Failguard is doing so poorly, but you're going to take the same team, expand it, and put them on the next Mass Effect, just right out in the open, like no reflection, no like, oh no, everything's great, we're just moving on to the next thing to steamroll. But the Ubisoft does have a great many issues, and I could see why he asked that. As far as I know, the examples Adam mentioned are kind of anti-consumer, like having a problem with the launches on Steam Deck. But they don't overall do things that are more egregiously anti-consumer, more like we call out Nintendo for that being litigious and all that stuff. But they have issues, and then their people are going on strike.
Yeah, they've
up in
had
Canada. So they have a great many issues. But if you look overall at the landscape, if you look at BioWare, if you look at Rocksteady, which is under Warner Brothers, if you look at Firewalk under Sony, if you look at Bungie under Sony, there's a whole bunch of studios that you could point at and go, that's a huge problem. That's a problem with the industry, right? So it's not just Ubisoft. There's huge problems everywhere. They got big problems. Activision had big problems. Now Microsoft inherited them. We'll see if they could turn that around. But yeah, I would have said, if he asked this question before the merger, I would have said Activision is the poster child for that. But not anymore. You just got a whole bunch of examples of bad business practices, bad corporate, bad consumer practices, and just overall, ridiculous behavior.
Yeah. I think this question really came from, because I actually flat out said Ubisoft kind of epitomized everything. Again, like, you roll it all into one: the DEI nonsense, the bloated budgets, games taking 50 years, monetization, buggy fucking games. Like, literally, there's been every single week, Chris, for the past 3 or 4 months, we've talked about Ubisoft. They're taking some fucking L. Pissing off Japan. It's like, bro, how you gonna piss off a whole country? So like they may not be the poster child, but they definitely have a lot of points there.
Yeah. I mean, we'll be talking about this once a future. Wait till we can celebrate Black History Month by talking about Assassin's Creed.
That's right. That's dropping in February. And Chris, we'll see if our theory is true that the February date is a placeholder that it's going to get delayed again. But we'll see. Yeah. We could be wrong about that. All right, let's move on. Next question here, also from Jay Shep. This one's interesting. if the PS Portal can stream PS5 games and has cloud capabilities, is there really any need to have another PS handheld? Yes, because we want something that plays games locally, you know? Like, we don't want this cloud-based shit, you know? So that answers that.
Yeah. I think the thing about it, the biggest issue with a lot of it is, again, not everybody has amazing internet.
Yeah.
Right. And there has been proven in a lot of different locations that portal does not work properly.
This shit doesn't fucking work,
yeah,
bro.
It works fine in your own home. Okay.
Yes.
But it may work fine in your own home, but like if you want to take it out, if you want a legitimate handheld, like something along of the lines
like
of
the Steam Deck.
Like the Steam Deck or whatever Nintendo already has it over on it already, even though it has a weaker handheld console, because you could literally play those games anywhere you want. You don't need to have an internet connection to play most of those games, with the exception of those goofball streaming games that they put out for it, which nobody bothers with.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't it just make the portal just a half step? Wouldn't it have been more logical to build a competent handheld that could stream from the PS5 and play locally itself? Like the PSP used to be able to do that. Yeah, why not both?
PSP still does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you just make a fully fledged handheld, right? You did this half step, it's like, oh, it streams the games. But yeah, Manny already pointed out the problems with that. And then if you have shitty internet, then you have a brick. You have a screen in your hand. It's worthless. It should be able to work independently, have its own library of stuff. And when you want to be able to do that, like, so I just want to play this, fucking in another room or somewhere else. Okay, fine. It can stream the games too. Or connect to PS Now or whatever. You could do that. It should just be fully functional. It shouldn't be a half measure.
Yeah, or as we call it on Throwdown, a toe dip. That's
the toe dip.
That's the toe dip.
Everybody, as soon as we saw that silly thing, we knew it was a toe dip. As soon as we saw the functionality of it, it's them not committing. It always is them not committing.
Yeah.
Usually when when it does, if it does decently, that's when they sort of commit. But again, we're hearing all kinds of goofy rumors right now that now that they actually legitimately want
because
to
the toe dip worked. That thing was successful
because the toe dip worked.
Yeah.
And they smoke screened everybody into thinking that this was a legitimate console.
Yeah, that's what I think happened.
And again, the first thing, number one, if it's a streaming console, this is what we said when this silly thing came out. The first thing it should be able to do is to play streaming games without the use of having to remote play into your dumbass PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, man.
Come on.
I know.
Really? Not rocket science, guys.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on. By the way, I'm going to ask 2 more questions. Then we're going to do the giveaway. Manny, get the wheel of morality ready if you don't already.
Carlos, can you grab some names? Or are you there?
We're just getting everyone who's in the chat in the Twitch chat.
Just everyone that's in the chat except for
Jay Shep, And Adam, the reason is because he won the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
So it's like, my man, you ain't getting another prize for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
what is it more? So at least at least until next year. So starting in January, you qualify again. Yes. Yeah. So we're not going to put you in jail for that long.
Man. He won the prize.
But even he was like I'm good, bro. I'm just Carlos. I'm going to do the same as always. I'm just going to ask a question. People are going to leave their answers, and then pick a name. Pick some names, and then I'll announce it towards the end of the show. All right, moving on. Ooh, a very generous fella here is picking up a question. Actually, wait, we'll get to that later. I almost jumped ahead. We got to get to the first person here who's also joining us in the chat, Mr. Siren Air Force, who says that he hopes we had a good Thanksgiving. We did. It was very good. Thank you for
thank you.
asking.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, 2 questions
Still
from.
eating leftovers.
Hey, I finished my leftovers. It was good
We're
too.
going back to
man,
the in-laws tomorrow.
me and the lady got a full like half a turkey left over. We got a bunch of stuffing. We've been eating for days. We even had a buddy over for a cup for for one day. He was helping us eat our food too. So yeah, we still got
Nice.
plenty left.
Yeah, no, I got hooked up, man. For you guys, actually, I'll tell you, Adam. So obviously, this was the first Thanksgiving without my mom. So me and my sister were like, "Yo, let's not do it just us. Like, let's go with the whole family." So we went to my cousin's house, the Voice of God, and all our cousins came over, and they hooked it up with the food, man. By the way, this motherfucker has an actual legit. Like he's a snake farmer. He has an entire room dedicated to snake. Yeah, like 30 or 40 fucking snakes in this thing.
Yep. Are they big snakes? Like the thick ones?
They vary in sizes and shit. They're not poisonous. None of them are poisonous, but yeah, he's a snake farmer, bro. He was like, yo, you want one? I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that phone. So he has one room dedicated to snakes, and then a smaller mini room dedicated to the mice that he feeds the snakes.
Oh my Lord. So how does this girl feel about all
She's
this?
fine. She likes the snakes.
I guess you did have to like it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. He also has 2 giant pit bulls, but they're fucking like sweethearts,
These pit bulls, holy shit.
Yeah, man, he has pit bulls, I had one of the pit bulls. His name's Vega. This motherfucker just like jumping on top of me, like, bro, you weigh 50 pounds, man. Stop doing that. But he like the instant he saw me, he liked me, like, all right, bro, because that's the first time I met him. Anyway, Thanksgiving was
Street Fighter?
He might maybe his first pit bull was named Dio after Ronnie James Dio, but he unfortunately passed away from the cancers. Anyways, move on. Yeah, so thank you for that, Sierra Enough Force. First one related to Thanksgiving. Did anyone buy anything for Black Friday? Adam, I'm gonna start with you. Did you buy anything for yourself or for anybody else?
Oh man, I mean, we did a lot of Christmas shopping and got some iPads for the kids for Christmas because they had a deal. We did some trade-ins of the older ones, so we did that. What else? I mean, tons. I got myself way too many GI Joes. I got a lot. I mean, it's absurd. It doesn't help when I got Manny over here helping me out. It's like, yo, you need this one. I'll send him one.
He's like a fucking coke guy. Like, yo, yeah, I got you fixed, bro.
I sent him. I found this deal. It was like one of the snake eyes. He comes with the white wolf of the white version of Timber. I was like, oh look, I got this. And he was like, what you need is a commando brush.
Because Adam is like
fucking enabler, bro.
Because here's the thing: Adam does not like Ninja Snake Eyes.
Adam
digs classic Snake Eyes, which he was a commando before. He had guns, he had bullets, he didn't have the swords and all that other Roshikage bullshit. So I was like, he's like, yeah, I got this thing, and I'm like, you really kind of want the one that's the commando one because it fits your military deal. So then,
and Adam's like, oh shit, you're right.
Oh wait, we got tell the story.
So he finds one. He's like, yo, man, I did it. I found the figure, and I look at the picture, and I'm like, dude.
You see the description. You see the description.
The description was the one he wanted, but then I'm like, dude, you didn't look at the picture, did you? Because that's the one that you just bought. So you bought it over again.
So he's sending me this, right? So I'm at work. At this time, I was in the office. So I'm getting this message. I'm seeing this. And I was like, all right. So I did a quick search on eBay. I'm like, oh, let me see what's up there. I'm like, oh, and I found one. I said, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I clicked away. And then I sent him, and he was like, got it. And he's like, you got the wrong one. I was like, what? So I went on break. I called him up. I'm like, what do you mean I got the wrong one? And he's like, take a look. And I zoom in on the picture. I'm like, holy shit. So then I send a message to the guy. I'm like, yo, your description says one thing. Your images say another. What exactly is this? And he was like, no, that's it wasn't number 30 of the series. It's number, was it 52 or whatever. And I was like, but he was like, yeah, I'll give you money, but whatever. Take it back. And then I found somebody else that was selling the right one, had all that stuff. But yeah, that was, if I didn't send that image to Manny to catch it, I would have opened up a box like, yo, what the fuck did I just catch?
You just got a double, man.
I got a double. You would have got another gift in the mail. I'm not keeping both of those shit.
It's funny because I got that one too.
Oh, you got that one. See? Oh man, but yeah, that what else I got? Well, I got I guess you could say it's Black Friday because I got it like a week or so ago. The the HasLab Dragonfly.
Okay,
So
yeah.
if anybody's listening, that's the big ass plane shit. So that I'll come back after Christmas when it's all put together and you'll see it up on the thing. But that's pretty much it. Just getting stuff for the family, little things. I mean, it's weird with this Black Friday because we know that it's not just one day anymore. You know, they'll say, "Oh, it's Monday, Cyber Monday," and then it's like Cyber Week, and then Cyber. You know, they just keep they just drag it out. So it's like there's no the whole need before of like this one day, then turned into a weekend, then turned into 2 days. Now it's the whole month.
I mean, you're not lying, dude. For my website, Tom's Guide, I've been covering this shit for a month now. Quick story. Last year, after another month of covering Black Friday, I got handed a press release to write a news story. I stared at it for 2 minutes. I'm like, do I remember how to write these? I just know how to write deals posts. I don't remember how to write fucking news. So yeah, I understand. It's like, it's just deals. Cyber Mondays tomorrow. Like you said, Cyber Week. That's not even a lie. It's true. That's what happened last year.
Not. I get the emails.
Yeah, Cyber
like,
Week.
Ready, we got this. We're
like,
having
we'll
all
go milk you, motherfucker. You know?
Yeah, they just squeeze.
You know?
They trying to get you to buy everything. And then the worst is like you see all these ads and they're like, oh yeah, buy the gifts and treat yourself. And treat yourself. You know, it's like they plant that seed. You know,
like
or the worst.
I want to treat myself.
We've all been there. You put something in the cart, you leave it alone, you get an email or a notification like you forgot something. You know, there's something else that you gotta finish this order. You know, I was like, shit, you people, man.
You know,
it's too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
All right.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go down the line here. Manny, you get anything for Black Friday?
I got Sandland from Namco Bandai's website. It's the collector's edition. I think I might have said this before.
Yeah.
Is half off, so you can get the game and the action figure for like $50. So I got that. Chris might like this one. I picked up a re-release of the movie The Keep. You know that movie, Chris, right? It's literally. It's got I forgot the director of it, but it's got like a young Ian McKellen in it. It's got the guy from the TV.
It's World War II. They go in that castle and it's like
yes, that's it.
Most are monsters in it.
It's a Brian De Palma film. It's actually the film that he sort of
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's a horror movie.
Anyway, that movie had been weirdly unavailable for years because there's all kinds of licensing things, and there's just plain Brian De Palma hates the film because
he does
because it didn't come out the way he did. His special effects guy died when they were going into effects productions like not long after they stopped filming, so they didn't even know what he was going to do on the screen. So it was like a whole bunch of shit, and also squaring away. I think the soundtrack was done by the band Tangerine Dream, so they had to get the rights from them. So it was all this stuff that was keeping this film from being released. So they did a fresh new, a company called Vinegar Syndrome did a fresh new restoration of it. They put all the commentaries and all kinds of other special features on there, and it was on sale for it just came out. And it was also going on, was on sale. It was on sale on Black Friday. That thing sold out in like 2 days.
Jeez.
Wow!
People wanted themselves some Keep. So yeah, I got that. And then not too many things. A couple of odds and ends, just because of some things that I needed. But other than just specific products and things that I picked up, that's about it.
Cool. Carlos, did you pick up anything?
Nothing gaming related, but
it could be anything.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
We're on a special episode, so
the special
kind of pretty much. You can
the filler episode, non-canon. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the previous, during the show, but post show about a certain deal with certain AirPods and
yes.
Pro. So I thought to myself, that's a pretty good deal. I'll just buy 3 of them, and I'm gonna give them as gifts. So
I like the AirPods. My
Yo,
daughter gave me her
Carlos,
AirPods.
remember what I said about me needing them gifts? Just saying, just throwing that out there.
oh, dude.
Just saying. I'm fucking with you.
Man.
I'm fucking with you, but yeah, just saying. Anything else, or is that it?
That was pretty much it. Yep.
Yeah.
AirPods Pro.
I showed restraint. I didn't buy shit. I said I wasn't going to buy nothing, and I didn't buy nothing. So I'm very proud of myself because last year I said I wasn't going to buy nothing. And I bought shit. There was something that's like $24 or something, but no, this year I didn't buy nothing. So I'm good. It's one of the benefits of being a tech reviewer. It's like I kind of have what I need.
Are you collecting anything these days? I remember before you were collecting those Robotechs.
Gundams.
The Gundams, that's it.
Yeah, no, I don't collect anything. Remember what I said back then too? It's like I'll stop collecting these when I run out of room. I ran out of room, so I stopped collecting. I don't have.
Shit's big though.
Kind of. They're like this big, like 6 inches, 7 inches. They can be big.
Really? Yeah.
Like some of them could be like this, like
bigger than that.
like that. But then the ones I've been buying lately were like the big ones and shit. But I ran out, so I don't really collect anything anymore. I don't have space for it, man. Thankfully, Manny hooked it up with the storage unit, which is good. I like that. It's like I pay for concert tickets, and that's how I pay my keep. It works.
I mean, it was definitely, at least for as far as, because I had a larger one in another part of town and in the city. And so I decided, I didn't need all that space, and I was also paying quite a bit of money because storage, it keeps going up just like rent. So I had it for at least 4 years, since 2020. So it was about time to get something that was easier to get to, and then also,
So you moved everything?
Less space. Yep.
That must have been
moved everything.
Shit. How'd you do? Did you
hell yeah! I did it the first time, man.
Yeah, well, we could say that. We could say that off air, but yeah. But yeah, because Manny, visits me, when he's in town, and I'm like, why did I go to the Cube Smart? That's like right there. It just made more sense.
Let's just say that Queens is a large place, and the other Cube Smart that I was previously at was far away.
Yes. Yeah, not anymore.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Jamaica, Queens. Anything Jamaica, Queens.
Jamaica takes forever, bro. All right, Brian, did you buy anything for Black Friday? And yes, the people in Britain do actually celebrate this too.
Yeah, it's more American imports. I'm same as Tony. I showed restraint.
Good
and
man.
Plus, most things, it's just like, I don't really need a new one of these, Like, I don't really need a new TV. Obviously, I could use a new TV, but I'm not in need of a new TV and stuff like that, I could get a new graphics card, but honestly, why? So hence, it's just lots of me just looking through and saying, I have that, mine's good enough, and then just going through. And plus, nothing that I think it's worth getting for myself, it's ever at a good discount. I mean, the main thing is, as you know, I make iOS apps for a living, and currently I'm rocking the iPhone XR, which Tony's going to just cringe and fall over and die.
Wow, that's an old one.
That's old.
Yeah, that's you back.
Yeah, because I'm not spending my life giving money to Apple for no reason. Like, I
get that.
I don't even use these as actual phones. They're just purely there so that I can actually test the app. So if you look at it from like a yearly value point of view, it's really bad. So obviously, I mean, you need of a new iPhone possibly next year or the year after. And as Tony knows, Apple do not do sales. And if they do, if you're lucky, it's 1% off. So at that point, it's just like, no, there's no point of this. So yeah, that's how I feel. And plus, I kind of miss seeing like those crazy videos of people going out to Walmart and fighting over TVs.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Everybody just shops online now.
Bro. Yeah, those days.
Yeah, like door busters. Yeah. Nobody's busting no doors no more, man.
Damn, I feel like ever since that a few years back, remember that person that died?
I remember they got trampled to death.
Thing with got trampled, and then then the security getting into fights and stuff with people. Then they made a big change, and I mean the internet really changed a lot of things for that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Chris, did you get anything for Black Friday?
I bought a couple things for my daughter, some toys, like Bluey, a Bluey chair. I bought an RC car that looks like Lightning McQueen
Fun.
for Christmas. And there was a couple things on Steam that were dirt cheap that I figured out why not. I think
Wait, RC car, like the ones that she can sit and ride around?
no, like remote control.
Oh, okay. Because there's
Remote
those
control.
too. Remember those that you sit in and it goes.
Oh, like
1,000
Power
hours?
Wheels? No,
Yeah, the
no, it's
Power
not ready
Wheels.
for Power Wheels. There will be a time for that. It's not now. So I got an RC car, and it has good suspension, so we could probably put it on the road and out
Nice.
front, and play with it. There was a couple things on Steam. Like I said, there was a Capcom sale. I got a couple
Ooh.
things off there. I think I got Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2. So I wanted to try those. And Warhammer, for some reason, the Vermintide 2 game was like $3.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's always on sale, that one.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was like $3. All right, I'll take a look at this. Sure. Yeah, I held off on other stuff. The deals didn't seem too good. The Amazon deals, nothing I wanted was like on super
Yeah,
sale.
none
They
of
were
the
like,
shit in my
no.
wish list was on sale, man.
yeah. So I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah. All right. And Rich, did you get anything for Black Friday?
Absolutely not this time. I do plan, however, to get a Steam Deck, so
Ooh.
maybe that'll happen tomorrow.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
That might happen. You know, Cyber Monday is tomorrow, so it's a possibility. But no Black Friday gifts. I did, however, spend time playing something on Black Friday, so we'll talk about that in the future.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been playing it too, so we'll talk about that, you know. Good stuff. All right, next up, another question. And remember, after this one is when I'm going to ask the contest question. So get ready. Another one from us here in Air Force. What gaming headset or headsets do you guys use? So I'll go down the line again. Adam, start with you. What gaming headsets do you use?
I use the Microsoft one, wireless one for the Xbox. The Steel Series, this one wireless for the PlayStation and PC. So this was the Arctic 7 Plus.
Nice.
I think that's the one. That's what I'm using now. And I really like this headset. You know, it's really fun to use, plug and play. It's soft cushion. I replaced the ear cups with like this camo.
Oh, nice. I can't see it too
Yeah,
well, but that's
yeah,
cool.
you can't see it too well. Yeah, but the nice camo. That's one of the cool things you can do with these. They make all these other ones, and not third-party ones make it. Noise cancellation, really cool. So those are the two that I use.
Cool. Manny, what do you use when you're gaming?
To be honest, I don't use anything that's fancy. I just use my those Sony headphones. It's the ones I used to use when I just walk around in the city and stuff. They have I can't remember the brand what is, but it has a little dongle inside of it. You just stick it inside of the PlayStation, and it just PlayStation the headphone jack, and it works.
Yeah, the controller.
Nothing
Yeah.
fancy. Yeah, you could just use anything that has a microphone attached to it, you know, it'll work. So if those headphones work on my PC, they work on anything that has a microphone jack that can also read a headphone jack that has a microphone jack section in it. So yeah.
Cool. Carlos, what do you use?
For the Sony PS5, I use the Pulse headsets. Pulse
Very
3D, I
nice.
think,
Yeah.
in particular. They still do the job. I would have rather updated, but you know, don't play enough multiplayer enough to justify it. And I don't play on Xbox, and I don't talk on Switch, and on PC I use my just whatever I use for this, which is Audio Technica mic and what is this Sennheiser headset just to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
also
much it.
use an
Sennheisers are
Astro
good, man.
headset.
Astros are good.
Astro 8,
I had
Astro
a few.
840. Yeah,
Yeah.
I use that every once in a while. It's the same thing. Plug in. You can plug into the controller, and then it just picks up, and pretty useful and quick.
Yeah. Brian, what about you? What do you use?
Great segue. I use Astro A50, the wireless
Ooh.
one.
Oh, yeah, the wireless. I thought about getting that wireless one for a long time, but it's always up there in price. It's like almost $3.
Yeah, it is pricey. But I said to myself, if I'm going to get one, at least get one that's compatible with PlayStation and PC.
Yeah.
And Astro was highly recommended. So I thought, if this is going to be the last headset I buy, then I'm okay with that. And yeah, I've used it for eons now. For at least it was back when I was still playing Warframe a lot. So that says a lot.
And back before Logitech bought them.
Oh, they were bought by Logitech?
Yeah,
Nice.
Logitech
Astro, oh yeah,
bought
yeah,
them.
yep, that's right.
Yeah.
No idea.
Mm.
So yeah, that is what I rock. Use it on my PS4, PS5, PC, and yeah, it just works. Well, it mostly just works. There are some days I will need to reset it, but it's like once every 6 months or so. So
It's got good
that's not a
battery
big
life.
deal.
Like that's what I like about some of
Oh,
these. Like
yeah.
even the Steel series. Like I charge this, I don't know when, maybe once every few months, and I use it all the time. So yeah, both that and Astro, they're really good with batteries on the headsets.
I like how you just put it in the dock and then it just charges and that's it. And then anytime I want to play some games, just take out the dock and it's good. And also it has like the USB mini something. I don't remember. The
Micro?
one before USB-C. Yeah, the micro one. And yeah, if it has no charge, then just plug it in and it also works. So I really like that. And it comes with the microphone. So that's the microphone I had before my current microphone. So it's a really good jack of all trades. But again, as Adam said, it's on the pricey side. I think I got mine secondhand because I was like, the price is a bit much.
Yeah, especially for a headset. When you start thinking about, man, I could get a console, I can get like all kinds of things, a phone, depending on what kind. I mean, there's a lot of things you can get for the price of that headset with shipping and tax and all that other stuff. Like, man, it's in fact, I think it's more expensive than getting what's the Beats, those type of Beats headsets.
They can be.
Mhm.
Chris, what do you use?
On the PS5, I either use the Pulse headset, or when that is not working, or my dongle goes missing because my daughter took it, I use a Turtle Beach that I can just plug into the controller. It's a regular, like, wired 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, so it works on the Xbox and the PlayStation. On the PC, what I'm using right now is the HyperX Cloud 3.
Ooh.
I really like this headset.
Scoop?
I replaced my old one was flaking apart. I just got the Cloud 3.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah. Rich, what do you use, man?
On the PS5, the Pulse headset. And for Xbox, currently using a very old Turtle Beach plug-in headset similar to Chris. So I most definitely will upgrade that. May consider the Xbox wireless one, because I was talking with Adam the other night, and yeah, I had a lot of issues with the headset.
So that's when,
probably
because
time
we were
to upgrade.
watching Survivor Series. You watched Survivor Series last night. So that's what you were using?
Yeah.
Because you did cut out. So
Oh yeah, yeah, it's time for an upgrade.
yeah, the Microsoft one is great. I mean, because it syncs up, and it's got this proprietary signal. So once you turn it on, you can use it to actually turn on the console and turn off the console just by
Rich?
pressing the button. So
I
Yes,
have a
sir.
suggestion. I'm assuming that this chat is taking place on Xbox Live.
That is correct.
I would, instead of using the Xbox, I would recommend downloading it on your PC or your laptop or whatever you use for Throwdown, and you can chat with Adam using that.
I thought you were going to recommend using Discord, since Discord is now on PS5 and Xbox.
Well, I mean, it's Adam.
Yeah.
Adam is not gonna want to do
Yeah.
that. I know Adam well enough to know that's
Come
not
on,
gonna
you
happen.
can easily link your Discord now with your Xbox or PlayStation, so you can cross chat now.
I'll see.
That's true.
I've never tried that.
Adam will
Do
still
it.
use Skype if he could.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
right. I like
yeah.
Skype.
I mean,
Skype was cool. This Skype.
Well, yeah. Well, what will happen is that Adam will figure out some way to break it, and in some way that
Yeah,
there's
some weird shit will
no way to QA it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Um,
All right. I saved myself for last because I have show and tell. Remember, I review these things, so I get a lot of. As a matter of fact, Manny, when you were helping me, get myself out of memories, remember there was like 10, 15 headsets. I started giving away to the neighborhood kids. It was ridiculous.
Did you ever send the one that you were going to send to what you call Brett? Remember? You said
No,
you were gonna send Brett?
there was something wrong with it, so I didn't send that one.
Oh.
But anyway, little bit of a story time. Actually, this is not for gaming, but I'm actually wearing one right now. You've been seeing me wear these for years. This is the Razer Barracuda Pro. So I use these only for this, for the podcast. For gaming, I mainly use the Sony InZone headsets, H9. I actually put a band on it because, I had the shit flaking over here, so I bought a specific hand. But I like this one. This is really nice. I also like this one. This is the Corsair HS80 Max. This one I like. Okay, so the sound quality is better on this, and even you guys, when I'm playing with you, you said I sound better. But I don't like these too much because they don't really extend and shit. I got a big ass head, so I don't use these too often. And I haven't tried this one out yet, but this is the Corsair Virtuoso Pro. You can actually detach this microphone if you want. These are fucking nice, bro. I just need an excuse to use these. Probably for Monster Hunter, I'll use these. So these are really good. Manny, I also have a Virtuoso headset for you that you forgot to take with you. So I have that waiting for you as well. But yeah, man, gaming headsets are good. I always like the ones that have the dongle because I don't like plugging into control. I always feel those are, I just don't like those. I'm like, I want to be completely wireless. I don't want to be connected to anything. I used to have a HyperX one that I used for Monster Hunter. I ended up giving that one to my nephew. I gave my nephew 5 fucking headsets, bro, including that's what it was, Adam. I gave my nephew the A40 because it was better for his system. It was something up with Brett's, it didn't work. And all of these are compatible with the PC and PS5. None of them are compatible with Xbox, but doesn't matter because I don't have an Xbox, so no problems there.
Why are they not compatible with Xbox?
Here's a weird thing, and no one, and I've asked a lot of headset manufacturers this question. No one has been able to answer this for me. There are headsets that are compatible with Xbox and PC and PlayStation and PC, but no headsets that are compatible with everything. Very strange,
That sounds like some conspiracy shit to me.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
isn't
it
just
odd?
incredibly odd. Yeah. When looking at the Astros, they had that exact same thing, and I wondered, why is that?
Brian, every headset.
Do they work on the Switch?
Generally, you will find the Switch is kind of good with that stuff, but
Bluetooth. Yeah, I feel like that's just generic.
But Brian, literally, every headset I've tested from multiple different manufacturers, I've had that issue. It's you could get the Xbox and PC version or the PlayStation and PC version, but there's no PC, PlayStation, Xbox version. Very strange.
I could see it as PlayStation not wanting to be linked in any way with Xbox. They do that with all their other things, and be like, no, don't stick us with them.
I know some exist, but it's very rare.
I mean, they're probably the low budget shit that you'll find on Alibaba or something like that. It's it works on everything, and they'll throw all the.
There we go. Syrian Air Force said the new Astro A50 headsets are compatible with PS5, Xbox, and PC. But again, that's rare. Those cost they're $299 and $379. That's the other thing. All the headsets I have here, again, these are all for use, and they're all fucking expensive. I think the cheapest one that I showed you guys was $250. That's the cheapest one. They're all headsets are expensive, bro. But the HyperX one that I use, which that's the one I actually bought. I was $80 and it was pretty good. Nobody complained when I was streaming Monster Hunter. And as a matter of fact, there were some headsets I used that were more expensive, and you guys were yo, you sound like shit, bro. So I stopped using them. I mainly use headsets that you guys like. Right here on the panel. All right, good stuff. All right, let's get to this question. So, Manny, what's going on? I'm confused about this. You were texting me.
We have a dilemma.
Uh-oh.
Because currently live, we don't have a lot of people specifically watching.
I see 11 people
on,
total.
On at least on not like listed names, right? In other words, there's only a few listed names that are between them. So
there's 11 people. Isn't that enough?
How many names are on the wheel?
No, the thing about it is that like we have viewers.
Yeah.
Right? The viewers are only really about like legitimate 6 people.
And you're looking at Twitch and YouTube?
Yes, Twitch and YouTube. So
how come OBS is telling me 11?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't see 11. I see 7 on Twitch, and then there's a who knows on YouTube.
YouTube is probably the other 4.
There's also
yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of names. So there's a couple of ways we could go about this. So we could throw it to the Discord. We could take names from Discord. You know, we could throw something into the Discord live. You know, for some people, and the people that interact will get the will be on the listing. Or we could just take whatever names that we got and just see how much we can go there. But granted, it'll only really just be about 4 people.
Okay, I guess, you know what, to be fair, I guess what we could do is like maybe tomorrow I'll at everyone and ask them the question, because I don't want to just randomly pick somebody and give them something they may not want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right.
All right, so the contest is not canceled. It's just canceled for this episode, but we'll do it tomorrow on Discord. You know, I'll at everyone. You know what we could do, Manny? I could ask the question a couple of times tomorrow, and then, you know, by the end of the day, we'll select somebody, just in case somebody isn't awake or whatever, you know?
And then you want to do the wheel of morality on Throwdown episode next episode?
Yes. All right, we'll do that. Yeah, there we go. All right, I think that's fair.
So nothing right now for you weekend warriors.
Yeah. So you know, everybody's off for the holidays and shit.
Everybody's all sleeping and all laying down.
Yeah. Philly Fred, what's going on, brother?
One thing I do want to do though is I do want to at least have one more giveaway where we could include, you know, a lot of the folks that are not fully on the you know, on the live shows, because I feel like, you know, obviously there's quite a bit of our listeners that listen to us mostly just off, you know, while we're not going on live, while they just listen to our podcast on there. So I would like to see if we can get something together for those guys as well, because I think everybody we shouldn't be discriminating to just people who are just hanging.
But isn't that what the Discord giveaway is effectively doing?
Well, that's what the Discord giveaway is. But even so, like, there's also probably people who listen who are not on the Discord.
Yeah.
Well, like me, who don't use the Discord like that and just listen and talk shows and stuff.
Yeah. Because my thing is, I'm trying to prevent doing this stuff on Twitter because I don't want fly-by-night people who aren't fans getting in on this shit. You know, I think Discord's probably their best way to go. You know.
All right, guys. So the from the horse's mouth right there, Tony's going to be asking a question to you guys tomorrow, and those of you who do interact will be on the list for the giveaway. Yeah,
there you go. Good stuff. All right, let's continue with the show. Sponsored question by Mr. Romudeth, a very generous guy, picking up an extra one from Assyrian Air Force. With game file sizes continuing to increase, what is the minimum storage that the next generation system should have? Also, is it better to go with proprietary storage or third party? All right, we'll take them one at a time. All right, so what is the minimum that you think next gen consoles should come with for storage?
1 terabyte.
I think minimum 1 terabyte. Even that's pushing it, but yeah, I think minimum has to be 1 terabyte. You know, what about the rest of you guys?
I actually might say a bit more than 1 terabyte.
Yeah,
I'd say
at a minimum,
like 1.2, because we know that a good amount will be used by the OS. So hence, you will, even if it is 1 terabyte, it's still less than that because you can't get it all. And even then, it's still not even the full thing because of how storage space works. That's another topic. Yeah. So I think it must be like 1.2, but then I think it should be 1.2 underneath the hood, but then they advertise it as 1 terabyte. So it's still the full 1 terabyte of actual space.
Yeah, I agree with that. What about the rest of you guys?
for the
That is-
cost, I would
Uh,
I'll piggyback off of Brian's answer, but say there should be 2 SSDs in there. You should have one dedicated like 512 gigabyte for OS and any system files, right? And then have the 1 terabyte for games, applications, media,
okay.
whatever, right? So then you speed up the system because you'll have bus access to two separate SSDs and not running the OS and the games off the same
That's a good point.
drive. So make it faster. But I 100% agree with what he said. But I think expand that, make it a dedicated like 512 gigs, and that's for the OS and system files and anything else, and then everything else can go on the 1 terabyte. It's for games and media. If you're buying movies, if you're buying, if you're doing
Yeah,
screen
photos,
captures.
all that stuff. For sure. We're gonna say, Rich?
I would go with 2 terabytes because the PS5 Pro right now is $700, and that's a 2 terabyte system. My assumption is that PS6 is going to be maybe close to that price or a little bit less. So I definitely will want more than 1 terabyte in there because, for example, Call of Duty, perfect example. And Adam knows this very well.
Oh yeah.
If you download the latest Call of Duty right now on Xbox, you're talking about at least 350 gigabytes of space.
It's a big boy, and it gives you all the bullshit you don't want. So it forces you to get like Warzone, all these other crap, and it's like it's big. And man, but you know what? Yeah, that would be great, but we know they're not going to do it.
Yeah,
None
and again,
of them
I'm
do it.
really, I'm really trying to stick with the minimum part because ideally, that's a different question. If you were to ask what ideally would you want, I would give you a totally different answer.
Yeah. Look at Apple. They still release iPad stuff with 64 gigs.
They finally stopped that. They finally stopped that. Now they come with 128 minimum. They finally stopped that shit. But no, Rich, I like ideally I would prefer 2 terabytes, but I'm going at the ass minimum. Like that's all I need.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But we'll see with these next gen systems. All right, moving on. Black Metal Gamer, 2 questions, and these are actually questions I could ask because he likes to ask these crazy questions. I'm like, I can't ask that shit, bro. All right. What are the most cryptic games you've played? Could be difficult puzzles or you not knowing how to progress. Go ahead.
Tony, can we answer the same one?
Sure, but I don't even know what my answer is. So this will be interesting. You can answer.
So I'll answer for you.
Yeah.
The fucking Witness, man. Who the fuck? What kind of game is that?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that bullshit.
It's like, oh, the clue is if you look at the clue and then you somehow look at the environment at this specific angle, and somehow you'll know how to solve the puzzle. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
You brought back a lot of bad memories. Fucking The Witness. I remember that bullshit. That was not fun. At least with fucking Braid, that was crazy too. But it was fun. Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? Any games that you were like, what the fuck am I doing, bro?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rich.
I have 2, and one of these I'm sure that Adam Vale will agree with. The Callisto Protocol.
That bullshit game.
But
yes,
that was. You kept looking in the next one, like, all right, everything's gonna look different here. No, everything was the same throughout the whole ship. It was, man, I don't know if it was that. It was just repetitive. It's just the whole thing. I don't know. Nothing too cryptic. It was just a whack game, and it was letting you know up front that it was like, yo, this is what you see, is what you get. This is it. And what about in a few hours? Oh, you're getting more of the same shit. What about this?
No, there's nothing cryptic about the game. It's just repetitive. You fought the same fucking boss 3 times, bruh. What the fuck was that? And you think like, oh, this time it's gonna be different. No, it's the same every fucking time.
Wait. That why would that be an answer?
It's not an answer. I think
It's
Rich just
not
wanted
a-
to throw it under
yeah,
the bus.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
I,
yeah.
was
Rich
how,
just took the.
yeah.
Yeah,
Rich just said-
I purposely wanted to throw it under the bus. So,
Yeah, that's
but I'll
fine.
give you my real answer.
I will
Oh,
take
is-
I will take any chance to throw that game under the
Is
bus.
it
so it's
because
fine.
you want? Is it because you want watch Matt McMuscles' what happened on that on that show?
I saw that on my
to Matt
timeline. Yeah, I gotta watch
McMuscles?
it. Yeah, Matt McMuscle is part of the Triple KO podcast. Shout out to him. You know,
Yep.
that's funny, man. But Rich, you have an actual answer?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I used to go to the arcade and I would play this one game that frustrated me to no end. It's this game called Dragon's Lair.
Oh,
For some
Dragon's Lair,
reason, every time I would play that game, die, and it would just constantly eat up a whole bunch of money trying to figure out certain stuff. So I would be curious to go back and try it now to see if I have the patience, but I did not have the patience as a kid. You know, that
Hey,
game
Rich,
annoyed me
You
to
can
no
do it
end.
now.
if you didn't have the reflexes then, we don't have the reflexes.
You don't have it
Like,
now.
yeah, like
No, but Chris, you know what we have now? They have accessibility options. You could turn off the time. You could slow things down.
I could make it trigger on it on
You
its
could
own.
make it
with
trigger.
the-
Yeah, this has changed. That was the if you want to say it, that was like the grandfather of like Until Dawn and all those QTEs. You know,
No, I feel
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
Rich's pain because I had the same experience in the arcade. You go see Dragon's Lair or
That was by
Space Ace or
design.
Dragon's Lair 2,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh man, it looks like, Don Bluth animation because it is. Except the game is fucking impossible unless you have the reflexes of a ninja and a lightning bolt combined. So
Here's a
it's
trick. There was a
ridiculous.
trick. Here's a trick. Well, what I used to do when I
Here's
would
here's a trick. I walked
here's the
away
trick.
from that
Yeah,
game.
You can walk away.
Yeah,
You
you
can walk away.
know.
You can walk away and save your quarters, or you could let the other jabronis before you watch them play, see the mistakes they made, and hope that you can then go right instead of left at where they went. Because I don't remember if it just randomized. I don't think it did. I think it was a set
I think
pattern,
it's
but it
that,
was all
yeah.
There
But you have to
there was-
remember.
There was when you fight the Lizard King in there, his sections randomize. They actually
Oh.
flip them sometimes.
See, then I didn't get
Sometimes
that
left
far.
is
then.
right and right is left. Yeah, they used to throw you for a loop in some of those levels, or like what level comes after sometimes is randomized too.
Oh man, the days. I remember walking with a bunch of quarters in my pocket, looking at all the machines, and whichever one, a bunch of people would gather around and just there and watch and see. And I remember that was one of them when that game came out because it looked like a cartoon, like you were playing a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was us in Chinatown Fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone else? Games that just stumped you?
For me,
Yeah.
I would say
Oh yeah. Wait. Oh yeah. Go
I
ahead.
would say Grim Fandango, because some of the stupid like combinations of things that you needed to do, like it makes no
Backtracking.
sense.
Yeah. There
Like
was,
where like
yeah.
it's like, okay, there's one of them where you got to get a balloon. You get this balloon from this guy, right? You have to get you can make this guy make different types of balloons, and you have to use that you have to ask for a wet noodle or a worm balloon, right? Which is just a undeflated balloon. Then you gotta make sure you keep that thing for later because there is this place that you need to clog up with a bunch of stuff. So there's all these different things that you need to do, and you're like, how the hell do you get to that shit?
The internet helps you. That's how you get there.
Well,
I
back
got the
back
platinum
in
in
the
that
day
one.
when there was no
Thanks to the
fucking
damn
internet.
Oh, you can't play it now. You can't play it.
Like the original when that game came out, that was like the
Oh, yeah.
beginnings of the internet.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It's
So-
horrible. I remember playing. I went for the platinum. I got the platinum, and one of the worst parts is that you had to play with tank controls.
Yeah,
You had to keep the
that
old,
was
and
it.
I hated
Yeah, it was
it.
the way the original game controlled. It was through tank
Hated it.
controls. So,
Hated it. But yeah, that was. I was gonna say mine is just ET. ET, take it back. What the hell? We got that game. I was thrilled.
I think you
and
can say that
I
about
got
a lot of old games, man, where you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck do I do?
There's no. I could get out the hole.
well, we
till this
also
day, I
you
couldn't
also
get out the hole.
didn't have. I think you got that game like inherited it from someone because it didn't have a fucking user manual.
No, I don't know how I got that, but I remember having it, and I remember playing and falling in the hole, and then trying to extend the neck to get out, could not get out, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this.
I'm gonna answer for Brett because he's talked about this before. A game I haven't played, but I know about it mainly from X Play. Eternal Darkness, the game that was all kinds of crazy on the GameCube. Really weird to haven't remastered it. Who was the original developer?
Silicon Knights.
Silicon
they don't
Knights,
exist
yes.
anymore, by the way.
Yo, they don't. Shit. Oh shit, Dennis Dyack. I'm looking at this shit now. Remember that? What's the name of that fucking game? Like Too Human or something? It just killed the studio.
That
was it. Rhode Island put a bunch of money into it or something like that, the state, and then they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the RPG.
That was the baseball player.
The baseball player. Dude.
That was Kurt Schilling's.
Yeah, that was Kurt Schilling. Yeah, that was a different. That was a different thing.
Oh, that was different. But I remember Too Human. Yeah, they put a lot in.
Yeah, they had another.
We saw a version of Too Human years like at E3 one year.
Yeah, the game.
That's about it.
No, I mean, did we, Manny? I mean, that game came out like 5 years before we went to our first E3.
Are you sure it wasn't? There was some other. You know what? I'm thinking about another game that was it was long in the tooth in development. We saw like a version of it at E3.
Yeah, I remember Too Human. That was a bomb, bro. Cadence of Amalur. That was the Kurt Schilling game.
That's right.
That's the Todd McFarlane game.
Yeah, he did the art design.
Yeah, 38 Studios. Yeah,
what's his face? Brett would kill me for R.A. Salvatore. He wrote the story and the lore.
Is that the guy who did
He did a lot of the
Ender's Game?
No, that's Orson Scott Card.
Okay.
Orson Scott Card wrote what's the name of that Metroidvania game? That was on Xbox 360.
Oh, yeah, the one that got attributed to Cliffy B.
Yeah, because it was Unreal Engine, I believe. That was a good game. I played that years after effect. Not The Suffering.
No. It was exclusive.
It was
exclusive, and then eventually it came out. Yeah. Oh,
eventually,
man.
yeah. But it got a lot of praise. No, not Shadowrun.
No, wasn't Shadowrun.
No, not that recent, guys. It's like we're talking about Xbox 360 era.
Man.
Well, Shadowrun is old. That's an old.
Yeah, Shadowrun is old. Like
PS1. Yeah, we're talking about Xbox 360.
Xbox 360.
We're talking about.
What's the name of that fucking game?
Damn.
Anyway, somebody in the chat.
It's got Nolan North in it too.
It does. He was the voice. That was
before. Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
So, Sir Nefrosh, you had it half right. Shadowrun. All right. Next up, another one from Mr. Black Metal Gamer. What is the most satisfying antagonist death in video games? Like, what's it like when you kill the boss? Like, yeah, you motherfucker. Like what felt good? Go ahead, Chris.
One that sticks out to me is the end of Bionic Commando on NES.
Oh shit!
You literally you fight Hitler and he's in this mech, and when you kill him, there's a little cutscene, a little box pops up, and his head explodes slowly. There's frames of his head blowing away. You shoot him. And that always stuck with me. It's like, oh shit! I just blasted.
I need to finish that game. I need to go back.
The original? You didn't?
I don't think I did. I played a lot of it. I
thought you loved that game.
Yeah, me too. I don't remember this. Maybe I did. I remember the Hitler exploding in blood.
Well, they didn't call him Hitler. See?
No. But whatever.
They just said like the Führer, the leader, whatever.
Oh man!
Yeah. But it was him. I mean, he had the little mustache. You could tell, even the 8-bit graphics. You could tell.
Yeah, it wasn't Charlie Chaplin. Oh man! All right. Anybody else? What was your what antagonist that you were satisfied with?
Simple. That's Red Dead Redemption. That ending, man.
Yeah.
When you think it's over, and next you're playing as John, and you're going through and doing you're going through all the other stuff, talking, and you're trying to find this one guy, and then when you do take him out, and it just pops up redemption thing, I'm like, oh yeah, that felt good because it was so subtle, but then it was just like defend, like, no, this is the ending, this is it.
Yeah.
You did it. So
that was good.
Yeah.
For me, I would say the fighting Sephiroth at the end, where you finally you
that was
go
a good
through
one.
his ultimate forms. Like he's like, this is not, he
I remember
getting
that.
bigger and bigger, And then finally you have that final battle where they had higher polygon characters, and then you have the Omni Slash ability there, and you just cut the shit out of them. He's like, finally got rid of this asshole.
Yeah, that was a good
stressful fight. I remember being stressed and looking at my inventory and kept pausing and looking for stuff. I'm like, this is taking too long.
There's a thing I found out about the final battle in Final Fantasy VII that I did not know. So, when you get up, so in all of Final Fantasy, when you raise your level, your max level, none of the other creatures and bosses raise their max their stats. Sephiroth does. So if you get to him at a higher level, his fight will always be hard, even at level 19, at level 99.
Yeah, I can confirm that. It's funny because I discovered this because remember I actually never played Final Fantasy VII where it came out. I saw Manny play it, but I finally played it in like 2008, and I discovered that myself, Manny, because I beat Sephiroth when I was level 65, right? And then I was like, let me get to level 99. So after I beat the game, I reloaded my last save, 99. It was way fucking harder.
Yeah,
like when I beat him at level 65, I'm like, oh, Sephiroth was kind of easy, bro. 99, it took me a long time, man. It was fucking tough, So yeah, I could definitely confirm that. All right, anybody else? I would have answered, but I legit can't think of any. Where I'm like, oh, I'm finally glad I killed this motherfucker. Outside of fighting games, I'm talking about, because obviously, man, when I beat Magneto in X-Men Show the Atom, that motherfucker, took me forever.
There you go. There you go.
But it wasn't a death though. It's like I just defeated him.
He was just beating him just because he was fucking cheap as hell. Like he keeps jumping in the air and doing those stupid wave things,
and then he does that shield. You can't do nothing. He does the shield,
and the EM pulse. He just keeps on filling up his super gauge.
Yeah, and then the draw that he brings you in. Here's the funny thing: in Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, you could set the difficulty. You put that shit at 1, he's still fucking hard. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Yeah, fuck Magneto, man. Magneto. Go ahead, Manny. Go ahead.
Side note on the Fighting Collection, when you put it down, the difficulty down to like 0. It also gives you a strength boost. So if you punch the opponent, you take like shitloads of energy, and they take barely anything from you.
That's crazy. Magneto was secretly an SNK boss. Otaku Man says, yeah, like fucking Krauser and shit. Okay, because admittedly, I didn't play a lot of SNK games growing up, but the main one I played was Samurai Showdown. That final boss was a pain in the fucking ass. And to prove that point, they re-released Samurai Showdown like 2 or 3 years ago. That fucking boss was still giving me the work,
Maxashido?
Yeah, I was like, fuck, there was you know what? Yeah, fighting game. Shao Kahn was another one. That motherfucker in Mortal Kombat 3,
Well, he keeps shoulder checking you.
Yeah, like exactly. You fucking asshole, man.
Well, yeah, in 3 he would pull out that. Well, he pull
out that hammer, but if he would close the distance on you, constantly spamming the shoulder check. Right, he just hits you, and then he pull out the hammer.
That son of a bitch. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? All right. In Japan, it was set to normal difficulty. Oh, don't get me started on that. So, Manny, the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection? That Super Turbo is way harder than it's supposed to be. It's actually a glitch that they never fixed. Like the Japanese version is fine, but the American one is all fucked up. I was going through all the games like about a week or 2 ago, and I beat all of them. And I can't beat that fucking game. I get like the first person you fight, it's easy. Then you get to the second one, it's fucking over. Like Zangief was a terror. Ryu, bro, you know me.
Ryu?
No, but it doesn't matter. It's like because they just read your inputs. Zangief is a fucking terror. It's crazy. All right, go ahead.
I actually have one.
Yeah.
Fatalis from Monster Hunter World.
Oh shit!
If you guys, and
I don't think
you guys probably won't ever fight him.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever.
No, you guys probably never will fight him. But yeah, once I got that win, it felt so good. I spent a long time trying to just see his moves and find out what he does. And the thing is, he just does so much damage. Like he hits you twice, you're gone, and that's it. Like, and it's not a fun fight, and there's so many mechanics. But yeah, it's once it's finally done, then you really feel really good. And the best part is at a certain point, you pull like a lever, and then it starts playing that Monster Hunter theme, and it's that extra boost just at the final moment that you need. And yeah, it's good. After I beat him, I actually went through and started looking at other people's videos that went through, and other people had so much more hell than I did.
Oh man!
There were these two guys who spent, I think, like 3 or 4 days just trying to fight him over and over again, and they put up the compilation of them failing, and it's like an hour long. It's some of the funniest things ever. But yeah, it is one of those things where, like, after you beat him, you just think that, God, it's over. But then, obviously, it's Monster Hunter, so you need to beat him a few more times to actually get his weapons. And that's where the real fun starts.
Guys, no one here brought up that From Software game that everybody's going crazy over. Like,
every boss.
right?
Every boss in a Souls game is.
You know what? Yeah, in the DLC, Chris, was that boss that was giving us the work, the final one? Radon, right?
Yeah, Radon, yeah.
That was satisfying, beating that son of a bitch, you know?
Oh, yeah, he was insane.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing, Adam. So
Which one?
Chris was on on his second character. What is it? Like second go around, like plus.
Oh yeah,
was New Game Plus.
So me and Carlos didn't know that. So his version, Radon, was way harder. So Chris helped me and Carlos. We beat this guy within 5 tries each, right, for each of us. But with Chris, it took us 2 nights or something.
What was the name of the game again? What was it?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. There you go. Elden Ring.
It took us like 2 nights to beat this motherfucker. Chris's game was ridiculous.
It was every boss too. Like
every boss, yeah.
Radon. What was the fire one? I forget his name.
Oh God.
Oh, Mesmer.
Yeah.
Mesmer.
Yeah, he was insane with the snakes.
What was it? I think besides Carlos and Rich, I think you're the only two that you guys finished Gears 5.
Gears.
No.
Gears 5? No, you didn't finish.
I played it, never finished it.
Damn, Rich, we got to finish it.
Oh, yeah, I finished it. Yeah, no, you were helping me, Adam. Yeah.
Oh, then we should all let's do it. Let's finish that. There was
I got left on that sniper mission.
So Gears 7 comes out.
Gears 5 with the bosses went that route where it's like multiple tiers and you'll see different power levels and stuff. They tried to bring that element to it. And there was this one boss where he would jump out and it's like on a frozen ice lake and he would break through, you would fall. It was this whole thing. It took like 3 days from me and my buddy. We're really spending 2 hours each night. And we were like, yeah, we're done. We'll try again tomorrow. And we tried again. Still another 2 hours wasted. You know, and he smokes. He's like, I'm going to take a smoke break. He'd come back. He's like, all right, forget it. We'll try next weekend. And we finally did it. And that was such a pain in the ass because he would fall. Yep. He would break through the ice. You would freeze him. You would shoot him. He would jump out. He would hit you 1 hit. And that's it. Like half your life be drained. Oh, man. So even had a 1-hit kill. It was such a pain in the ass. Yeah. And this was like halfway through the game. It wasn't even the final boss. And we could not believe we were having so much trouble in Gears 5.
Sometimes those like mid-game bosses are harder than the final boss, you know? And then obviously like Omega Weapon and shit like that, man. That was satisfying because it was so fucking tough, you know? Good stuff, man. All right, let's move on. Last 2 questions of the night, people. These are sponsored questions from Ace Ali. So thank you for that, for sponsoring Jay Shep's other questions. Okay. Could everyone who works or has worked in the gaming industry share an experience you've had with a gaming executive that left a positive or negative impression? Like someone you met at E3 or any other thing. And Chris, you could even throw in, work experiences at Nintendo. So Manny and I kind of went over this. I'm going to try to do some different stuff. But Manny, I'll go with you. What's an interaction that left a good impression on you or bad impression on you?
I mentioned it before, was with Andrew House.
Yeah, that
we
was
got
good.
to talking with Andrew House, and it was a good one because but for me it was talking to the head of Marvel Games. So the head of Marvel Games, he actually has he has a let me just get his name. I'm totally blanking of his name.
Sure, we come back to you.
No, I remember his name is I can't anyway. I can't remember the guy's name, unfortunately. So, but he's the head of Marvel Games. He's been done it for quite a while. And he actually, I interned with this guy, interned at Marvel when this guy was there. He used to edit the Marvel the Marvel Visionaries internal like book. So if you get if you had a subscription to Marvel, you would get a magazine every month called Marvel Visionaries, and he'd have interviews with other things. Anyway, this guy's worked through Marvel all the way up until he got to the point where he was the head of Marvel Games. So I got to talking to him because it was really great to sort of somewhat. He didn't remember me, but it was good to catch up because we did work at Marvel at the same time, and also at the same time we had folks who worked on the Telltale games, a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Was there?
Yeah, it was. Yep, that was a Telltale.
They were hanging out there too, and we were just sort of reminiscing and talking. It was really good, and like just sort of getting in touch and talking again. Like you think like, especially when you see some of these people, they just be sort of like, oh, just separated. But I feel like, and this is I've mentioned this before in gaming, like the people that work in the industry don't have a lot of those sort of egos that a lot of other industries would have, like let's say the film industry, which I've also worked in, and also even the comic industry to some extent. You could pretty much roll up to anybody and just get to talking and get a little, because because what is E3? E3 in general, or was an industry show. So it's connecting with people and, getting to know people, and then as you work up the ladder, you get to know more people and stuff like that. So yeah, it was definitely great to sort of to catch up with him and talk with him at that thing. Yeah. So I would say that one of them.
Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go with again, it's a lot to choose from. At PlayStation Experience, I think it was my first one. Yeah, I believe it was my first one. The second one was crazy. I got stories about that too. As Rich would know because he was involved in some of these stories. But I want to say I was hanging out with Gio Corsi, our boy. We were having drinks and stuff. But here's the funny thing. So Gio doesn't drink a specific type of drink or whatever. I think it was like cocktails. Like he only drank beer or something, or it was the reverse, right? I think it may have been that he doesn't drink beer, but he drinks like cocktails. So somebody that liked him, was a fan of Gio Corsi, gave him a beer. He's like, oh, thank you, but I don't drink these, so he just gave it to me. But anyway, so we're there talking and stuff, and Dan Shu shows up. If you guys remember him from One Up and stuff, he comes over, starts talking, and I got to tell him that there was this article that he wrote, and this was like 2009, bro, like 2010, around that time when One Up was still a website, where he wrote the 10 things you should not do as a journalist, right? And the main one that stuck with me, and I try to do this till this day, is don't start a review with a fucking history lesson. You see this shit all the time, right? Like let's say, for example, you're reviewing Street Fighter. Oh, the Street Fighter franchise, illustrious, blah, 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 blah. You're like 3 paragraphs in before you start talking about Street Fighter 6. It's like, don't start with that shit. And there was a lot of really good advice and stuff. And I told him about it, and then we had a really good conversation about that, and then, about the craft of writing and all that. Really good stuff. I know he's not a gaming executive, but, he's obviously a big guy, and Gio Corsi's involved. So
he would be a peer.
Yeah, but, Gio Corsi was there, so I'm going to just account that, So that was a good interaction. Again, I could literally do a whole show on this shit, good and bad, For bad, I'll leave that for another show because we don't want to get too negative. But I could call some people out because there's some assholes in this industry too, you know. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to get salty.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to talk.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Like
we don't do that around here. You know, just like we also don't get into beef with other YouTubers, which is really fucking stupid too. We don't get into beef with other of our peers. We don't do that shit.
No,
Otaku Man, you already know what's up. And then Otaku Man, you are also involved in stories from that fucking PlayStation experience that me and Rich ran through. That was a wild time, man.
You have one.
Go ahead.
I have one. Larry Herb, Major Nelson.
We also met him. Great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, great guy. And I listened to the show, and he would send emails. I would send him emails about talking when he would questions and stuff. And he did this one for Pac-Man Championships when that was coming out, and they were doing something at the Supper Club. If you remember that place, that was over on 42nd Street. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be in New York. We're doing this Pac-Man tournament thing, and it should be fun. And I sent him a message. I was like, oh, that's great. It's in my neck of woods. It would have been cool to go to something like that. And then he replied back, I put you on the list.
Oh, shit.
He was like, you're on the list. Come on down. And I was, whoa, okay. And I mean, that was like 2006 or something like that. And sure enough, I went. I was like, all right, I'm going to go down there. And I was on the list. I had to be, he didn't have to do that.
That's fucking awesome.
So, yeah. So that's my person.
Yeah. Chris, you got any stories from conventions or maybe during your time at Nintendo that you want to share?
Well, I've met a few executives. I've talked to Reggie multiple times when I was there. He would always come to New York to do promotions. Like he would appear on Jimmy Fallon if there was a game or like the 3DS launch. He came and he would talk to us and he gave us a lot of like sage advice about like marketing or business or how we're positioning things and whatever. So he was really and he was really approachable to talk to. And he was very personable. He was really nice. Mr. Wada, I spoke to him briefly. I met him one time. There was an event, and he came, and we were eating together, and I talked to him a little bit. He was very nice. But I think the craziest executives I've ever met were the Hauser brothers. So when I was at Rockstar, they had a corporate party, and for everyone, and I met them. I was talking to them. They were very nice. And then they went. They had a stage there at this. We were at this like bowling alley place. I forgot where it was in Manhattan.
Was it on the west side?
I don't remember. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hula Hands. I think there was a Hula Hands bowling.
I had. We'll just continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So they go up on the stage and they challenge people to eat this cheese ball that they had, and if you couldn't finish it, there was a chair there and hair clippers, and basically they would shave your head if you couldn't finish this thing. People are drunk and took this. I'm like, this is a corporate party. They
planned it to have clippers on hand. No one just has that.
Yeah, that was a challenge. You had to finish this cheese ball. And
what happened if you did though? What if you did? What did you get?
You got money. There was a cash prize or something.
Did you try? Well, I guess you didn't try.
No, I did not take that.
So did anybody? What happened? Did somebody win? Did they
I the last two guys I saw, they lost. They got their head shaved.
Holy!
That's funny.
But they party hard, man. Everybody was drinking nuts.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Rich, what about you? Got any positive stories you want to share with gaming executives?
Well, here's the thing.
That's never good.
That's a very tricky question because, a lot of my experiences with E3, it had to do with, obviously, a lot of the people with the coalition, as well as you, Tony, and several of you in here. The one takeaway that I always go, every time I go to these shows, what I enjoy more than anything else is spending time with all of you.
Yeah.
Now, I have had some experiences where I would hang out with certain people from the coalition and I see them getting starstruck when they see a certain developer. I'll give a shout out to.
Oh, we know.
I'm laughing because I know exactly who you're talking about.
We know who he's talking about.
Well, maybe not that individual, because you know, but I'll give a shout out to one of our former staff, Mr. Edward Velasquez, aka H Town. He was the residential Xbox guy on the show, you know, as far as on our team. He was the diehard Xbox guy. And I recall one time myself, him and Gary, you know, we had went to the Xbox showcase, because this was the same year at E3 when they announced the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And I remember that this guy when he saw the Xbox One, he decided to pre-order right away. And Gary and I was laughing because, you know, shortly after that, when they had the PlayStation 4 reveal and they announced it's $100 cheaper, we were laughing at this guy because obviously he was angry about that. But I recall that we saw Kojima because he's a huge Kojima fan, and Kojima, he was going to try and get Kojima's autograph, and then we saw, wait a second, Kojima walked into the men's room. So we were basically telling him, you know, it's not a good idea to try getting an autograph when somebody's using the bathroom.
Dude has this junk in his hand. He's not there or taking a poop.
Yeah, no. So I thought that was kind of hilarious because he ended up going into the bathroom, and obviously he didn't get the autograph. He didn't acknowledge or say anything to Kojima, but it was a funny situation. Because, you know, I don't really know. Kojima, that he probably would have definitely got caught off guard by that. Somebody coming up to him, you taking a piss, and they come up and say, "Hey, can I get your autograph?" No, that would have been very weird.
On your shoe. That's what I get. Back up.
Hilarious thing, because it's funny how you end up meeting in the bath, seeing at the.
I got a story about that too, bro. But I'm not gonna do it tonight.
Okay, so the first one, Kojima. So me and Tony were heading over to one of his appointments, going to, you know, the closed off area where it's just only press, and I was like, hey, you know, I had to stop off and use the bathroom. So when I get out of the bathroom, I notice there's a lot of familiar people standing around there. There's Ken Imaizumi, who's Kojima's producer. There's I think and his not his publicist, but his assistant was also standing there. I'm like, there's a lot of Kojima people standing around here, and all of a sudden, he just pops out, and then I get a picture with him. After that, I'm like, Tony had already been away. He had already gone away. I'm like, hey, dude, you know, realize I just met Kojima back there.
Crazy.
He goes, oh shit, really? How come you didn't fucking tell me? I'm like, dude, I was trying to tell you. He's right there. You know, I'm like, so. Later on, we end up meeting Kojima in the same location that we had our meeting. Tony had his meeting because he was doing a bunch of VR stuff, and I think
that was funny. Because what happened is, because I remember that story, Manny. You know, that experience with Manny. And I was like, and I was kind of mad that I missed my fucking chance. So when Manny was like, "Yo, Kojima's in the bathroom, man," like this was a separate occasion. I was like, I got 3 hours to kill. I'm meeting Kojima, son. So I'm following this guy, and we ran into Gio Corsi in between that too. Remember that? On the way, because we had that appointments area that we were going to. Yeah.
So we end up over there, but we see Gio Corsi over there.
Yeah, and he was like, "What are you up to?" I'm like, "I'm following Kojima." I told him I'm following Kojima. You know. So then we go to the place where Kojima was. He was like behind closed doors looking at some VR shit, and I just parked my ass there, bro. We were there for like, no, it wasn't that long. It was maybe half an hour. It was not that too long. He comes out and I tell him, you know, I love Metal Gear. You know, and that, Manny, didn't they film us for something?
Yeah, they did take our, because we talked a little bit about him, and he had a little bit of a documentary team with him too.
Yeah, they filmed us for that documentary.
I don't know if we are in that recent documentary.
I have that documentary.
Yeah, I don't know if we're
I
in
have to
it,
take
but
a look.
they did take footage from that, but it could be, I could be in there. We could be in there. We could not be in there.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, I
anyway.
got a picture with Kojima. I posted that on Twitter. I was going fucking crazy, Yeah, that was a good story, man. Like I finally got because I was like, I'm not missing my chance because he was like right there and I didn't know because I was doing some other shit, talking to somebody. Yeah, because that's the thing. When I'm at E3, bro, I'm just zipping around everywhere. I don't really have time for shit. That was good. Again, we could do dedicated shows to this shit. E3 stories, it's like there's a lot, bro. All right, so that was good. And then the last question of the night, Manny, it's actually for you.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah. Question. Yeah. Question for Manny. If you were the head guy of your own development studio and you did your own artwork, what type of games would you make? AA, AAA, what genre, and why?
I would actually go with a AA. Because I feel like that is the location where because again, like, dealing with, dealing with different studios and dealing with those sort of things. One thing about your budget is the more budget that you have, the more executives or, let's say your publisher has a bit more say as to what you can and can't do.
More money, more problems.
Exactly. It's the same situation where whenever you look at it, you like, okay, what happened with Spider-Man 3? It's like, oh yeah, because Sony was putting so much money into this film and saying they made requests like, hey, Venom needs to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Where, essentially, sidelining what he was trying to do with that.
Sam Raimi didn't want him in it. He
didn't want him in it. He wanted to do the setup at the end, just like in the comics where he gets the suit off. And then the next movie you do Venom.
Yeah.
Right. But no, they wanted Venom in that movie, and it caused that problem because if you anyway, you've seen it anyway. So yeah, I would say for me it would be like a AA title, and the titles I would do is like I would love to do a fighting game. I would say. Like
Dimension Warriors, let's go, son.
Dimension Warriors, yeah. I mean, I'd love to do a fighting game. And like me and Tony had this little kid cells wanted to make a fighting game. I always wanted to make like along the lines of the these sort of Capcom and those sort of like super jumps and that sort of wild type of game. I would also say I would want to do like an old school RPG. Like taking those things again, like a turn-based sort of, turn-based sort of idea again, along the lines of like Final Fantasy IV and, those sorts of, or what do we call, what is it? Final Fantasy IV or Final Fantasy II for those of you who played the Super Nintendo, stuff like that, like more. And then, yeah, like I would say those would be like the top of my lists of games to do. I mean, I would say, and like an action adventure game too, like like a
Uncharted,
like not Uncharted, more of like a beat 'em up type of game, that's like platforming and attacks and stuff like that. Those are the type of things. But yeah, I wouldn't want a big. I would want to be able to establish my property without killing the budget. Killing everything on the budget. Like in other words, don't put everything inside of your title that you ever wanted. If your title does great, then you can make your sequel. Then you can put the things that you had cutting room floored for the first one. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the fight because I've been obsessed with fighting games again for the past a few months, and I was thinking about Dimension Warriors, right? Specifically because I'm like. There's some things about fighting games that kind of bug me. I'm like, why don't you do this? Like, like some games have them, some don't. Like one thing that bugs me is like, I don't like it when characters have different endings that don't all work together. Like, like this guy won the tournament. What happens if this guy won the tournament? Well, it's like I would like if I were to make a fighting game, I would make it so every ending for every character was canonical. It meant something. It will mean something for future games. King of Fighters does this, which is kind of good for the most part. I know there's some division, but those stories keep carrying over, right? And then like other games like
isn't Tekken? Doesn't Tekken? Also?
Tekken Tekken has some weird shit, you know.
Yeah,
and it's funny you bring it up,
some
Adam,
goofy
because
stuff.
I finally really got into Tekken, and I'm looking at all the endings because, like in Tekken 7, you actually get to see the cinemas of every single game. So I was going through them, but like some of them are canon, some aren't. And like Mortal Kombat, like Liu Kang won Mortal Kombat, but like what if you beat it with Scorpion? What if you beat it with Sub-Zero? So I'm like, it would be nice if Street Fighter 6 almost does it. Like their respective endings kind of don't contradict each other. It would be cool. And then obviously I would have every single stage be platform and like some kind of obstacle in it, some blow up shit in it, like without exception, like, because I'm like, why can't you make the stage part of the interaction, and why don't you make it more interesting? Where like, if you go through one fight, you may not see everything the stage has,
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's one thing that the sort of the Marvel games for Capcom started doing, where in other words, what's her name's in the Mojo level, like you can keep falling
multiple
down
levels,
and smashing the floor,
spiral,
or spiral, or like Shuma Gumaroth, he has that one area of the stage where you just blast them through a wall, and it's like a whole different area that you probably didn't see. And so there's fun stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's what I was thinking about.
Or later games like the Dead or Alive games.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
They started doing that,
By the way, this didn't happen during Black Friday, but prior to Black Friday, they had a bunch of game sales on PlayStation, so I just bought a bunch of shit. So I bought Dead or Alive 6. Manny, there's this one level. It's called the Dead or Alive Museum. It has like 5 fucking floors. And you could, but the thing is, it's not like up and down. It's like you could just punch somebody down a flight of steps, and then you could like punch them through like the streets, and you keep going through different parts of different like Dead or Alive levels and stuff from like
past games. The Injustice, Injustice.
Like I like shit like that, Injustice. Don't they have one where it's like you could throw like a meat rack like at the other person or some shit like that? Like
it'll smash him through. There was a Batman one, and you smash him, and he falls down some level with some stairs, and then you can smash him to another wall and do it.
That's fun.
Moving around and expanding.
Yeah. So that's what I want in a fighting game. Every ending canonical, and I want every level to have multiple layers. Like think about it. Okay, X-Men or Street Fighter, right? That's my probably my favorite Capcom game. Most of those levels suck. Manny, guess which level is my favorite one? The New York City one. You know why? Because that's 2 fucking levels. You could punch somebody right through to the sewer.
To the sewers,
Yeah, but then the other levels are stupid. It's like a tree, a mall, a studio. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
And nothing happens nothing happens in the studio or any of those levels that sort of gives it some sort of like, a different feel to it, right?
Yeah, and then I also like the one where like it's in a chemical plant and it blows up. But wouldn't it be cool if something you did caused that instead of just like round 2 and now everything's on fire?
Yeah, everything's blowing up. Yeah.
like I want shit like that. Anyway, we are done here. I want to make a little surprise announcement. You guys saw Adam here. He will be with us for the rest of the year, people. Woo, woo, woo.
Yep, I'm excited. It's always cool to sit here and chit-chat about the gaming world.
That's it, and talk other bullshit, off air. So, Adam, very happy to have you back until the rest of it. Like I said, you're not officially not on Throwdown. You still are. It's just, sometimes you got to go on little hiatuses.
It's it. I mean, for those that, I have a family, the kids are getting older. They got a lot of activities after school. So it's like running around and doing all that stuff, getting done with dinner and stuff. And then it's late and it's just not enough time.
Yeah.
Not enough time.
Yeah. And I'll say this, and this is also too, like anybody listening, it's like, if that you have kids, I know I'm not a dad, but I'm just going to say this, like, Adam, I know you really don't want your kids going like, oh man, dad never spent any time with us. Like, you don't want that shit. Like with us, like, hey, I can't hang out. Oh, I don't give a fuck. Do your thing, Like you want to spend all the time with them as much as possible before they leave, because they will leave eventually,
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, you just don't want that feeling. And then Crystals, you don't want that feeling when they get older. And it's like, oh, so what did you care, Dad? You were always in the room just talking or playing video games or doing your own thing. You didn't give a shit. And that's why I'm running away with Tommy. Because Tommy pays attention to me and you weren't there. Who's Tommy? Exactly. And that's why I'm carrying
Chris already. Who the fuck is Tommy?
It's like the Green Ranger.
Yeah, Olivia, who you talking to?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh man. So
Yeah, you don't want
but
that.
yeah,
You know?
it's you don't want that, and then also just guide them. Like my son he's 8 and he's really into gaming now. Like he's doing Fortnite. He's winning these battle royales and getting like 20 something kills a game. I'm watching him play this. You know, he's playing this on PS5. And the new season started yesterday. He jumped in. I've never experienced this. I know no one here has either. So they do these events, and he had to log into this event. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's watch this. He jumps in, and then you see all these players, and then a big version of Snoop Dogg comes out, but in game form, and it's like a concert. So now my son's character is doing the gritty, and all these people are dancing, and it's a concert. Then Eminem comes out, and he starts. It did this whole thing. Then fireworks, and the world is changing around them. It's like a storm was coming. Another rap star came out. It's like it was a whole concert thing going on, and it was about a half an hour long, and then it's done. And then he got all these notifications. The season starts. So today, him and his buddy get on, and they're just grinding through like this battle pass system to get some. I guess Godzilla's coming or something.
Yeah,
like
I heard.
that.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's over here winning. He started from the beginning. I think now he's like level 18 or something like that. Like so he's really into this, and it's like these type of things I didn't even pay attention. So I'm really trying to understand what he's doing with his time. And he's turned into, I mean, this is before our time with having dual. He'll put on like his favorite streamer who's playing the game, and then he'll play while he's playing, watching this guy do his own.
Wild.
I was like, I don't see how that's entertaining, but whatever. This is what he does. So just seeing his whole development and all that, and my daughter likes some Sally Face. Have you guys ever heard of this game, Sally Face?
No, never heard of it.
It's some horror game. She likes a lot of horror games. Chrissy, she'd be proud she's playing Resident Evil, Biohazard. We were playing that.
Oh,
so
nice.
trying to get she's really into all those. So it's like, yes, I'm doing my thing, but then I'm trying to just be there for them with that, because I don't want to be like our parents are like, oh, you're still playing the Nintendo when it's a PlayStation or something. They're like, oh, the Nintendo. No, so I want to get involved and be part of those memories. So when they say, yeah, as a kid, I played this with my dad. There, those type of things. Not just, oh yeah, I played this. My dad did his own thing.
Yeah, I know. You don't want that,
Yeah,
that's good stuff. But yeah, man, happy to have you back for the remainder of the year, and we got some good shows coming. We're gonna roast the Game Awards like we always do every year, and then
oh my god!
Though this time it's going to be in a different week than it was previously.
Yeah. So Adam, this week. The episodes aren't numbered because like the final episode would have been the Game Awards because it was a week later. I can't have that. And the numbers need to line up and shit. So I was like, okay, this week, the episodes are just not numbered. Then we're going back to numbers next week. Because there was one year where this happened and we just took 3 weeks off, but fucking Game Awards decided we're going to be a week late. Come on, guys. Fucking Jeff Keighley. But it's all good, So that'll be fun. Then the year-end special.
What was it? I saw the controversy that they added remasters to the list as
DLC.
DLC.
Yeah, DLC. Yeah,
that's some bullshit. Then that means you could do all kinds of. They just did an update of Half-Life 2. It was free recently, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's not just a regular game. We made some tweaks." Valve said we made that. I guess that qualifies then. So
the whole thing is fucking
20-something-year-old game could win Game of the Year. Come on.
I went on a big rant when we were discussing the nominees about the fighting game category. Multiversus is on here. Multiversus won 2 years ago. It won, and Adam, it won when it was a fucking beta. So how you gonna have a beta win and then it's nominated again? So don't get me started on that bullshit, bro. The whole thing is dumb. And here's the thing. Elden Ring or Shadow of the Earth, the DLC is probably my favorite game of the year. I don't think it should be nominated for Game of the Year. I don't think so. Because it's a fucking DLC. You need the main game.
Yeah, make a separate section. That's DLC of the year.
Yeah, no, but they can't do that because that would make too much sense. It's fucking insane.
Oh, Adam, the reason why they did that is because they had no other high-level games that would sell the show for Game of the Year.
Yeah, that's also true. And again, my conspiracy is that they want to Shadow of the Earth is going to win, so they could have Miyazaki up there without the Bill Clinton kid fucking ruining it like last time. Elden Ring won Game of the Year. Remember that shit?
Yeah, the kid who came up from behind.
Yep. He was just hanging out the whole time in the background. Yeah. Nobody checked him. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to go, why is that one guy hanging out with all these Japanese dudes? Nobody said that. A bunch of old Japanese guys and this young fucking...
Maybe they see the translator.
That I asked, like, who is that person?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Yeah. All right, man. Let's start wrapping up. Rich, what is going on with the coalition this week?
Oh, yes. Well, there's a lot going on with the coalition this week, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, our very good friend, Mr. Adam Vale, has an article coming up tomorrow where he's talking about some co-op games worth playing this holiday season. So check that out. As for the rest of the week, I'm currently working on 4 different reviews. So, yeah, I've been pretty busy this entire Black Friday weekend, Thanksgiving extended weekend, but I will be talking about one of those games very soon, maybe Thursday night on a little show called Throwdown, so you might want to tune in for that. But yeah, stay tuned. We got a lot of things coming to the website, a lot of reviews, some previews, so on and so forth, and yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, yeah, stay tuned. If you guys have seen my tweets, you know what game this is, bro. So stay tuned for that. Actually, I could just tell you, we don't have to be secretive. Everybody knows. Yeah, we will be reviewing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on Throwdown on Thursday, because the embargo lifts like 3 hours before we go live, I believe. It's close.
That's correct.
Yeah, so we will give you a full review of this game, people. So stay tuned. No, we're not going to tell you anything more than that. We're reviewing the game. Stay tuned. That's it. That's all you get. It's got Indiana Jones in it. There you go. There may be a whip. All right, man, we're done here. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors always popping. And of course, follow us on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. And tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody. Play with your toys.
You play with your toys, man. You got all of them.
I got a lot of toys.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everybody.
And Brian Manjoma.
I see that David Jaffe is having a normal day.
Oh, man, David Jaffe on one. Oh, man. Brian, I thought you were going to make a joke about Destiny. Bam. That took a turn, didn't it? Oh,
Destiny
man.
is in the past.
Yeah. All right.
The thing is, I have no idea what he did. All I see is that he was trending.
Yeah.
And I just avoided it.
I'll tell you off air. All right, people.